Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm gonna show you the greatest pancake recipe of all time. Over the last 3 weeks, I've tested fats, flours, leaveners, mixing methods, cooking techniques, and other people's so-called best version of this recipe, all in the pursuit of the best flavor and the best process. And after dozens and dozens of attempts, at this point, I can confidently say that this is a recipe for the greatest pancakes of all time. To get started, I'll drop 140 grams of butter into a pan over low heat and melt it. I'll come back and grab this in just a second. Next, into a medium bowl, I'll combine 600 grams of all-purpose flour with 12 grams of salt, 60 grams of sugar, 2 grams of baking soda, and 25 grams of baking powder. I've opted to basically double the leavening in this recipe because I want more gas production during cooking. More gas generally means a fluffier pancake. Instead of using double leavening to increase gas inside the batter, a lot of recipes call for whipping and folding the egg whites in. And I tried that quite a few times, but I was never happy with the result. Texturally, it's the same or maybe slightly better than double leavening, but somehow the whipped egg white mutes the flavor of the butter and the buttermilk inside the pancake, so I can't recommend it. Now, real quick, I'm gonna whisk the dry ingredients until the salt, sugar, and leaveners are all evenly mixed throughout. Then, into a second bowl, I'll combine 900 grams of buttermilk and 4 large eggs. By the way, if you can't find buttermilk, you can mimic its twangy fermented flavor by combining 500 grams of sour cream with 400 grams of water. And once I got my eggs and bee milk all mixed up, I'm gonna pour that mixture into my dry mix and then carefully fold to combine. I'll give it about 10 stirs to start the mix. Then I'll move over to my stove and grab that butter that we just melted, and I'll stream in about half of it. Okay, now I'm gonna fold that butter in gently, maybe another 6 or 7 times. Then once it's mostly mixed in, I'm gonna drizzle in the other half and then fold everything together for about 20 to 30 seconds. Pro tip: don't overmix this batter. One of the so-called secrets to making fluffy pancakes, surprisingly, is a lumpy batter, or more specifically, a barely mixed one. The lumps are kind of a side effect of less mixing. Basically, the more you mix, the more gluten proteins in the flour you link up, and more gluten means more chewy. Cut to a batter that I mixed until it was fully homogeneous. You can see the batter is smooth and pretty looking, and you might be fooled into thinking that's gonna make a great pancake, but when I bite into it, well, these are chewy. And that is not something that you're looking for in a pancake. And once I've got this batter brought together into a lumpy mess that looks like you certainly made a mistake while mixing it, it's time to cook it off. But first, I want to thank Grunes for sponsoring this video. If you haven't heard of them, Grunes are a holistic nutrition gummy. Each one of these little babies has over 20 vitamins and minerals and 60 whole foods ingredients. Whole food fruits, super mushrooms, antioxidants, adaptogens. That's good to have in general, but especially for days when you're eating like a jerk. Like I was last weekend when I was bageling my way through the island of Manhattan for, video research. I packed Grunes on that trip to make sure that I got some kind of nutrition post-bagel. I actually look forward to taking Grunes every day since they taste just like a little fruit snack treat from when you were a kid, but they don't have any artificial colors or flavors, and there's only 3 grams of added sugar per serving. These 8 little gummies are packed with ingredients that are backed by science to benefit gut health, energy, immunity, and recovery. Kind of like some of the other greens powders that you've seen on the market, only tastier and way easier to take every day. So if you're looking for a comprehensive nutritional supplement that you'll definitely look forward to taking, I highly recommend checking out Grunes. Use my link in the description and you'll get up to 45% off. Just click the link below. Now, to cook this batter, there are 2 main ways that I would recommend. The first is a plug-in electric griddle. This allows you to cook 4 to 8 pancakes at once, which is great for a crowd, but it's a single-use appliance, which I hate, and the quality of the pancakes is slightly less good than my preferred cooking option, 2 nonstick pans on top of the stovetop. The shortcoming here is that this method only cooks 2 pancakes at once, but man, they are really nice pancakes. Whichever cooking method you choose, just make sure to preheat your cooking surface to 350 to 375 F. Now, to cook these on the griddle, I'll start with the 4-ounce scoop, or about a half cup's worth of batter, and drop it onto my preheated surface, then swirl it around a little bit to help flatten it out and circularize. At this point, you might notice that this batter is very thick. That's by design. I started my recipe development with the more traditional loose pancake batter because I assumed that would yield the moistest, fluffiest result, but that was not the case. A wet batter yields a pancake that browns well and looks nice, but once they're out of the pan, they're floppy, limp, and they deflate, negating any fluffiness. And once I've got 4 pancakes worth of batter smoothed out on this griddle, I'll leave them to cook for 3 minutes on the first side. And after roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes, I'm gonna come back with my spatula and get a sneak peek at the underside side to see if I'm brown enough. And these are looking good. So now I'm gonna flip over all 4 pancakes and cook them on the back side for another 2.5 to 3 minutes. To tell if these are cooked through, I like to give them a poke right in the middle. If there's raw batter in there, the pancake will cave in a little bit. That's a sign that you need to keep cooking. But these feel firm, so I'm gonna pull them off and either serve immediately, or if you want everyone to eat their pancakes at the same time, I'll drop these in the oven on a wire rack to keep them warm. Now to cook these on the stovetop, I'm gonna drop 1 4-ounce scoop into 2 medium-low heat nonstick pans. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm not using fat to cook these pancakes on the griddle or in this nonstick pan, it's because it makes the pancakes greasier than they need to be and it browns them pretty unevenly, so I can't recommend it. And after about 3 minutes over medium-low heat, I'll flip over the stovetop pancake, and that looks godly. It's what golden brown looks like in the dictionary. Plus, it's so fluffy looking. Now to serve, I'll drop 1 pancake right out of the pan onto a warmed plate. Then I'll slather on a little room temperature salted grass-fed butter in between the layers because it's a pro move. Then I'll drop pancake 2 on top. Then finally, 1 more pad of softened butter right on top. You guys, for me, these pancakes check every box that you could want. They're super flavorful thanks to the melted butter and the copious amounts of twangy buttermilk. They are texturally a dream come true because they're somehow both fluffy and substantial. Sometimes a fluffy pancake has no bite and it gets really soggy and crumbly once you soak it with syrup. And then lastly, they have a golden brown crust that just won't quit. Plus, if you eat these things fresh out of the pan, the crispy edges are freaking sick. Hey, Bri, what happens if I make too many pancakes and I've got some left over? Well, let me show you how to revitalize them the next day into a McGriddle breakfast sandwich. First, use a wide rim glass or a cup to press them into 4 perfect 4-inch rounds. Then drop 2 of those pancakes into a toaster for 2 minutes. While those toast, I'll sizzle off a little smashed patty of breakfast sausage, then top with not 1, but 2 slices of American cheese. To put it together, I'll drop my cheesy sausage on top of 1 of the crisped up pancakes, then I'll top that with a fried egg, then pancake 2 goes on, then a little squish to break the yolk, and then finally, I'm gonna drench this thing in some maple syrup. Ooh baby, that is a cool looking breakfast sandwich. If you guys like this video, please watch another video. YouTube thinks you'll like this one, and so do I. Now, let's eat this thing.
Oh my God.